Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. She says her husband controls her diet.
I am afraid to bring certain foods in the house.
Do you sneak food?
Yes, I do.
Her daughter.
It's gotten violent. You've ripped her shirt, right?
He makes me feel like I'm nothing.
Even her pregnancy.
You say you have had 3 abortions?
I've said this is your decision. This is your body.
He told me if I were to have the child, he would leave me.
You threaten her with abandonment. Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, 3, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Do it, Dr. Phil. I want you to imagine something for me. I want you to imagine living in fear of your controlling husband, knowing that the smallest things, like leaving a hair in the sink or him finding a nail clipping on the bathroom floor, could set him off into an abusive rampage. Now, that's exactly how my first guest, Carissa, feels about her husband, Colin, on a daily basis. Now, although they've only been married a little over a year, it sounds like the honeymoon stage is way over. Take a look.
Colin has abused me verbally, emotionally, and physically without any repercussions. I'm afraid of my husband. He has hit me 3 to 4 times. Colin put his hands around my neck, pushed me to the floor. I was cowering in a fetal position, crying. Another time, I was looking at photos of my old dog, and he told me never to speak of the dog again and hit me in the side of the head. He's called me a bitch, the word, and a cow. Colin told me many times that I need therapy and I need mental help. Not only is Colin very abusive, he's very controlling. I feel like I can't even clip my toenails in the bathroom out of fear that Colin might become angry. I'm very thin and underweight. I feel like I don't have the freedom to buy the things I would buy at a grocery store. Colin is a vegetarian. I feel like I have to sneak Casey out of the house and take her to buy her a hamburger. He's abused Casey physically. He pulled her hair. He's pushed her to the floor and grabbed her shirt till it ripped. Sometimes I wonder why I married my husband Colin at all.
Now, stories like Carissa's are exactly why I launched a campaign just last year to end the silence on domestic violence. But look, we all know that every story has 2 sides. And Colin claims all of these issues are in the past and that Carissa has painted a picture of their relationship that just is not true.
I'm sure that it probably seems to other people that I'm abusive all the time, but that's not the case. She makes me out to be a controlling monster. Carissa does these things that push my buttons. It's frustrating. I could be having a completely laid-back conversation with her, and she'll say that we're having an argument. I honestly don't think that I'm a controlling person at all. She feels that she's walking on eggshells. I think that it's crap. She's irrational, lazy. I've grabbed Carissa by the shoulders. I've pushed her in the hopes that she'll just listen to me. And I have put my fingers around her neck. Casey, unfortunately, has a lot of her mother's traits, too. I pushed Casey. I've shoved her, too. I've been a complete ass. My wife does resent me for the things that I've done. I think the problems between Carissa and I basically boil down to ineffective communication.
And listen, I'm getting right to this because I take y'all's relationship real seriously. And if somebody doesn't say something to change the way I see this, I'm going to give you a really bad prognosis here. You have said straight up, you are a flat-out True?
I have been because of what I've done to Carissa, absolutely.
What have you done to her?
I've been toward her.
Have you hit her?
Yes, I have.
Have you choked her?
Yes, I have.
Have you physically shaken her, putting her where she didn't want to be?
Yes.
All right. True?
This is true.
And what do you do when this happens?
I cry. I hope that it will stop.
You say, this is what you used to do. But she says that just 2 weeks ago, you pinned her to the bed, scratched her shoulder.
It has happened recently, unfortunately, and I have not grown enough that I can be the person that I aspire to be. But this was revolving around a morning when I woke up, and she just started in on me for no apparent reason. She was being verbally abusive toward me, and I was just trying to defend myself.
But I don't feel a spat or an argument should lead to physical abuse.
Absolutely, it shouldn't.
Has he hit you in the last year multiple times?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Okay, help me understand this. I want you to walk me through what goes through your mind when this happens that tells you it's okay for you to put your hands on her in anger, for you to impose your size, your will on her. I want you to tell me what goes through your mind that says, this is a good choice, this is okay, I can do this.
Absolutely. It never goes through my mind that this is a good choice.
Well, based on results, it does, because it's a choice that you make repeatedly. In the last year, you've been physical with us. I don't know when the past was.
It doesn't happen as often as it used to. And that's because I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to not let her push my buttons. I'm trying to be more rational.
I'm glad to hear you say that. And also, I'm glad you're here. This should count for something. I mean, he's on the Dr. Phil show, for God's sakes. He showed
I'm
up
proud of him.
knowing that there's a history here that's difficult to defend, right? I give you a
there's
lot of
no
credit.
excuse.
I give you a lot of credit for it. But you do make excuses. You made excuses to us when we talked to you pre-interviewing you for the show. You've made excuses since you've been out here. I woke up, she started in on me. She just went on and on if she wouldn't do that. Actually, in a show last year, I went through and made a list of the most common excuses abusers give when they abuse someone. And here they are. I was joking. I was having a bad day. You got me upset. It won't happen again. I didn't mean to hurt you. You deserved it. You know what sets me off. You're just as bad as me. You know I have an anger problem. It didn't really happen like that. You've hit about 7 of those 10 in our conversations with you because you think she provokes you, basically, right? If she would leave you alone and not get in your face and let you walk away, this wouldn't happen near as much, correct?
I don't know that she actually goes out of her way to provoke me. I don't know how to handle myself properly.
Okay, well, we've got to get one thing straight. You know, stand up, if you will. Stand up. Okay. Do you see the problem here? I mean, look how wide you are. Look how men are built differently than women, right?
I know.
And you, in a fight with her, is an imbalance of power. That's an imbalance. This just doesn't work.
I know.
It's an imbalance of power. And that's why if this doesn't change, you're going to wind up in prison. And I don't want that to happen to you. I'm trying to get your attention about this.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? Now, look at her. Look her in the eye. There is a point in time that you go into a rage and you decide, I am going to beat her down. I am going to physically control her. How long has it been? Look at her, not me. How long has it been since you've really looked her in the eye?
It's been a while.
Just keep looking at each other. We're going to take a break. Carissa says Colin pressured her to do something so devastating and hurtful that she's still haunted to this day.
The second time I became pregnant, my husband was very angry with me. He told me if I were to continue the pregnancy and have the child, he would leave me.
My wife can't get over the past. What can I do about it?
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil.
He thinks because he has a job, I should pick up his stuff.
Their husbands don't help with the chores.
You've gotten away with this for 16 years?
Don't blow it for me now.
So what happens when the men
We're going to send them backstage to clean some dishes and make lunch for their wives.
have to be Mr. Mom?
Oh, what a train wreck. The baby's head now has mustard on it.
I don't think Colin realizes the extent of what his behavior has done to me emotionally. I have felt hatred towards Colin. He's 6'4". He's a lot taller and stronger than me, so it is very physically intimidating. When we get into an argument, he gets so angry that I'm not sure what he might do.
Well, Carissa says her husband Colin has abused her both physically and verbally, and that the control he has over her pushed her to do something that she can never take back. Take a look.
The first abortion I had because we found out the baby had a rare form of spina bifida. The second time I became pregnant, my husband was very angry with me. He told me if I were to continue the pregnancy and have the child, he would leave me. I couldn't believe that my husband could treat me this way.
My wife can't get over the past. What can I do about it?
The third time I became pregnant, Colin told me to do whatever I wanted, but there was a threatening undertone. I felt like I did not have a choice. I had to have an abortion.
I do remember telling her that if you want to move forward and have the baby, that's your decision to make, but I won't be here to support it.
It was very hard to go through the abortion process and watch the life inside of you die, something that you were happy about, that you had to give up. He should have loved me enough to have a baby with me and not force me to terminate the pregnancy.
She feels that I was the controlling force and it was my way or the highway. But that wasn't true. It may have been true for the second abortion, maybe for the third abortion, but the fourth one, I did leave it up to her.
You say that you have had 3 abortions. You say 4. It puzzles me that such an event of such magnitude that you miscount.
I think a lot of it is denial and like trying to block it out because it's so traumatic.
So you've done this not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times.
Yes.
In any of that, did it ever occur to you, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to let somebody make me do this?
Yes. I almost left him at one point and was going to just have the baby on my own, but I couldn't do it. I didn't feel like I was strong enough.
She says that you control her at every level. She says she's afraid, she walks on eggshells. You say that's crap. This is just simply not true.
It's not true.
Were you trying to influence her to have these abortions?
No. The first one, absolutely not. How could I? It was after the baby was diagnosed, the doctor basically just gave her the number to the clinic. Of course, we talked about it.
Okay, let's go to number 2.
Number 2 happened very soon after number 1. So I was still in the grieving process, and I was very broken up over what had happened. It was the worst thing that could have happened to me.
Excuse me, do the words birth control mean anything to you two? I mean, seriously, did you, if that's how you feel, were you practicing birth control?
I understand what you're saying. She tried to go on birth control, and it was making her ill. You know, she's very lightweight, and she couldn't handle the chemical changes that were happening to her body.
You say she's not very big. You determine what she eats, do you not? She tells us that she is not even allowed to bring food in the house unless you approve of what she's bringing in.
It's not true at all.
Is that true
I
or
do
not?
all the cooking.
No, I don't have to ask his permission. He does all the cooking. But I am afraid to bring certain foods in the house. Yes,
you what?
That is true.
Listen, you're really puzzling me. You're saying different things now than you're saying when we talk to you. We have a whole list of things where you have contradicted yourself, because that's a real warning sign to me. It's a red flag to me of either dysfunction on your part or the fact that you're here and you're afraid of him, so you're starting to mealy-mouth around because you don't want to get in trouble when you leave here. And you got to be honest when you're here.
I am afraid to bring foods into the house, yes. I go out of the house and I sneak food.
Why would you be?
Okay, then you sneak food. Okay, so when I ask you that question, why do you say, oh, no, that's not true? And then now that I ask you about it, you say, well, okay, it is true. Why are you lying to me? If you want my help, tell me the truth. I cannot fix what you don't acknowledge. Do you sneak food?
Yes, I do.
This was some time ago, Dr. Phil.
I don't care when it was.
I bring chicken into the house now. I bring meat into the house. I bring burgers into the house. And I have actually cooked meat products for Carissa and Casey.
You can't honestly think this is about the food.
No, of course not.
This is just an example of her saying she feels controlled and dominated to the point of terminating a life inside her that she wants not to terminate.
And I know that I made that harsh statement that if you go there, I'm going to leave. But of course, I never would. And I tried.
You threatened her in a highly vulnerable state and position.
I was scared.
You threatened her with abandonment.
I was scared.